Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of iTrack. Big shout out to all the iTrack fam that has been tapping in, man, and to everybody that's been sending me these interesting clips. We got a lot to look over today, but before we get into any of that, do me the biggest favor and hit that like button for me, man. It helps the channel out. Hit that hype button and subscribe if you're not already a part of the most interesting channel on YouTube, man. And as usual, watching to the end because there's always a ton of gems all the way through.
Then the camera pans down the icy structure, revealing that another piece is also absent.
Hold up, wait a minute, did that cat just disappear into the ether?
Does anybody else besides me find this to be creepy? I know I can't be the only one. Now this is Benny Blanco promoting his new song with Selena Gomez, right? But again, does anybody else besides me find this to be very creepy? People have been saying for quite some time that Selena Gomez has been looking different. This is what people are saying, but I'm sure that there is nothing wrong here, right? But you have to admit, that is very bizarre. That creepy looking mask riding on the back of this bicycle with Selena. Again, I can't be the only one out there that finds this to be a little bizarre. That mask is very creepy. That's like something that you would see around Halloween time. Again, I don't know what is going on with Selena Gomez or Benny Blanco, but you have to admit that something seems off about both of these people. I mean, it really truly does. Everything surrounding both of these people, something seems very bizarre. What do you think about this?
I can't believe I haven't talked about this yet, but yeah. There's sharks in rivers. Meet the bull shark. These bad boys are one of the big three most dangerous sharks on planet Earth, and they're often considered to be the most aggressive. It's like a swimming middle finger. Oh, and here's a bonus fact. You see those little black dots around its mouth that looks like a 5 o'clock shadow? Yeah, that's actually an electrical organ that allows them to sense the electrical pulses in other creatures' bodies, which is how they find their prey. In other words, they can hunt blind. I don't like it. But what really makes the bull shark dangerous is, unlike most sharks, they don't need to swim in salt water to maintain their salt balance, which means they could swim in fresh water. They're found in rivers all over the world. They've even been spotted in the Midwest in the United States, which makes no sense. And because of that, they've been documented hunting animals that they're not supposed to, like cows and dogs and humans. Moral of the story? To answer it simply, yes, sharks are found in rivers. Swimming's overrated anyways. And as always, follow for more facts.
Heads up, AI companies have started buying and destroying rare and antique books at incredible scale. AI companies right now are buying up antique and rare books, ingesting their contents to train their models, and then destroying them at incredible scale, according to new reporting from Futurism. Here's what's happening according to 404 Media. AI companies are bulk buying rare books. Then they scan them through high-speed machines that cut the spines of the books off and then shred the original book. A federal judge has even ruled that this practice is considered fair use, because if you eliminate the original, it means that only one copy of the book remains at a time. Nobody in the pipeline is actively checking whether these books are the last book ever to be on Earth. And so not only are classic books being destroyed, but historical records are. Local histories, self-published memoirs of wars, and more. And it's all happening during this massive AI boom as we speak. So be aware, spread the word, and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
Other industries that quietly disappeared. So the commercial jingles industry, responsible for making catchy 15-second jingles, was booming in the 2000s and 2010s, but ad agencies shifted away from hiring composers to write original music and instead chose existing pop tracks on commercials, which killed the creative field entirely. One-hour photo labs have been disappearing rapidly, and few remain with the advent of digital cameras and iPhones, as is the encyclopedia industry, which is all but dead after Wikipedia, Google search, and now AI emerged. Call centers that used to house thousands of phone operators operators who would redirect calls are now completely dead after the internet made looking up businesses free and instant. Similarly, elevator operators used to manually operate the speed and stop of each elevator 24/7, but with the invention of automatic elevators, they disappeared. This is similar to manual pin setters at bowling alleys who used to do this, and there's only a few more left today. In-person travel agents to book flights or hotel rooms were once mandatory, but now with online booking engines like Expedia and Google Flights, there's no more need for them. And finally, the DVD and Blu-ray industry is obviously dying as everybody just uses streaming services to watch their content.
We measure time in seconds, but what if time is a web? Some scientists say that time is just a pattern that we perceive. But what if consciousness is the pattern holding everything together? If we saw time as this way and viewed it as consciousness itself, we might rethink how we travel, how we dream, and how we explore.
The Palace Saint Genevieve, 1400s? Come on, man. I can't help but just say, come on, man. Because who does this make sense to? Where'd they cut these stones? I don't care where they got them from. I don't care how they hoisted them. But like, how they cut them so smoothly in the 1400s? Who does this make sense to? You know? Right across the street from this thing. That makes sense. Down the block from that thing, and there's another one. This thing is, I'm not gonna say monstrous, it's huge. But for the 1400s, it's very, very huge. And come on, man, sound off. How'd they cut these stones so smoothly? I don't care about the pulley and the scaffolding anymore. You know, with the same faces that we see all over America, all over Belgium, all over Paris. Sound off. Make this make sense. Please help me out here. More sheep. It's the comment section. Defending the BS. Look at the size of these doors, man. On a beautiful day in Paris, man. You know, I'm a gargoyle apologist. But these are just so weathered. Or they melted, like people say. Or is this just weathered central, right? From the 1400s? It happens. I'm not mad at it. You know? Oh, who's this guy sneaking in there? Sneaking in there. Who's this then? I didn't notice him. I didn't notice that Atlantis. You know? Oh, come on. I didn't even realize they'd be lying already. The 1400s. That makes sense? Yes, it makes sense. Because it looks like that previous civilization took care of it, like most other things here and all over the world. That's making more and more sense.
Now, he makes a great point, and I would even go as far as to say that might have been some of the most creative time in history, because, I mean, how could you even imagine to create anything like that? You didn't have AI to ask. You just had to depend on what you saw in your mind to come to fruition in reality. Like, that was pretty wild. So, I don't know. I mean, he makes a great point, man. If you know something I don't, drop it in the comments.
CIA's time travel experiments. Project Gateway.
The CIA wrote an obscure report on the Gateway experience, claiming that an altered state of human consciousness could transcend space and time. Declassified in 2003, this 29-page document was titled Analysis and Assessment of the Gateway Process. Associated with the Gateway training program involves movement outside of the boundaries of time-space, as in Focus 15, but with attention to discovering the future rather than the past. The individual who has achieved this state has reached a truly advanced level. Except in unusual circumstances, it is probably not attainable except by those who have conditioned themselves through long application of meditation, or by those who have practiced long and hard through the use of the Hemisync tapes for a period of months, if not years.
So this literally might be one of the craziest videos I've seen yet. This is somebody walking through the woods in Poland and they come across a pell crawler or a rake, whatever you want to call it. I personally call it a pell crawler. But this is very strange. I wish his light was working better, which kind of doesn't give credence to it being real. But check the video out. Tell me what you think. I think this video is absolutely insane. Yeah, that sounds crazy. It's a smart move. Check out the close-ups. This looks insane. What do you guys think? That looks like a pell crawler.
Hey, I personally think he wasn't moving fast enough. If I even hear anything like that, man, I'm out of the woods. I'm not even wandering around in the woods at night. I don't know about you, but I'm not even doing that.
David and Goliath was a real story. Look in your phone, Giant Bones Turkey.
Giant Bones Turkey?
Yes.
Okay. Claims of giant human bones, including 120 centimeter femurs, suggesting 14 to 16 feet humans.
Abraham Lincoln in the Niagara Papers spoke about the extinct giants. The flood, if it was real, allegedly, was to do what? Destroy the giants. So they don't want us to believe in these things because they worship it and serve it. They put it in movies, make it think like it's make-believe because they got one up.
Like BFG.
But when you go to Africa, all of the things we talk about is real life for them. You ever heard of Tartaria?
I have, lightly.
You ever heard of Tartary? This is a country that existed. It's the old world. The old world is under the ocean.
I said, no. He goes, remember I said we're going to merge with the technology? And he said, did you see what Elon did the other day? I don't know if you saw, but they have these new robots for Neuralink, and it'll put it in less time than it has for LASIK surgery. Now, he goes, that's brutal. He said, that's technology is the beginning of it, and people use that for medical purposes. But he said, you won't need that. He said, in 2031, 2032, nanotechnology will be advanced enough that by 2035, it'll be common to link your brain to the AI internally. The nanobots will do it. So what does that mean? It means if I said to you, did you see 2001: A Space Odyssey, or whatever movie it was, right? And when I ask you that, you might remember the poster, you might remember the actor or the actress or something like that. That's how you remember things. You go, yeah, I remember seeing that, right? Well, he said, now when you ask the question in your mind, you'll get the answer again, but you won't know if it's your organic brain that gave it to you or the AI brain that gave it to you. And he said, you won't care because it'll have a longer memory, it won't go away, and you'll have access. I said, man, that sounds a little creepy.
That sounds a bit more than just a little creepy. What's even creepier than all of that, everybody that claimed that they wouldn't do it, they're going to warm up to it. They'll warm up to it.
This footage I'm about to show you of a man whose wife went missing. And when he reviewed his security footage, this is what he saw. I noticed the humanoid creature in the doorway as they sleeping. Look at this. Now this footage left the cops confused. The woman is gone, nowhere to be found. There's a stain on the pillow. The stain turned out to be blood. As the police searched for evidence, they could not understand or wonder what was going on in this video. But as you could clearly see, this entity, whatever it is, possibly an ET or some type of demon, snatched this lady out of her bed. Now from the camera at the store, it makes me think this is possibly ET technology. and that was possibly an ET that snatched her. Or it could be both.
Did you notice that when you're having fun, not even just in a video game, when you're having fun, you're not just having fun and time goes by. You're time traveling. You're having so much fun that you don't feel the time. If you don't feel the time, that means in my brain that you are moving in a different dimension. Your mind is moving in a different direction, dimension, because it is having fun. It's focused on the game. It's whatever that is that the body is doing to make you not perceive that time has passed quite a bit, right?
Okay, so we're just taking a walk over here, and I never noticed this before, but if anybody else has seen this on their walk at Piedmont, what the fuck is this? And why is it here? What the? I don't like it.
Day one, little bro trying to train to be a Navy SEAL. Challenge today, go from this side of the pool.
This dude clearly filmed something as pool
and
did not see it. I'm gonna pause them, and I'm gonna rewind this. Right there, if you didn't see it, looks like it's right next to a ball. That's not their dog. That looks like some type of maybe cryptid in the pool. That is super creepy. Let's zoom in. We have to. We have to zoom in. What is going on right there? What is that? What is in your pool, dude? And they didn't see this until they uploaded it later. That's incredibly creepy. We're going to watch it one more time. We're going to pause it right there. Holy crap, dude. It's got some kind of cryptid in your pool. That's not okay.
This can't be real. So this basketball player is going insanely viral again because new pictures of him just dropped. At 18 years old, he's 7'6", and people think he's still growing. Yeah, his name is J.K. Match, and he's already taller than every player in the NBA, including Wembanyama. Now colleges are all fighting over him because he can literally dunk without jumping. While the internet can't agree whether height exploitation is ruining the sport or if he's just pushing it to new levels like Wembanyama did, I'm just still confused how this isn't AI.
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich. While people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the...
Now, YouTube doesn't want us getting into that topic too much, but if hiding behind the Fifth Amendment was a person, I think we all know who that is.
In 1947, legendary boxer Sugar Ray Robinson was scheduled to fight a man named Jimmy Doyle. Sugar Ray Robinson desperately tried to back out of the fight because before the fight took place, he had a vivid dream that he had killed Jimmy Doyle during the fight. Robinson was then convinced by a priest that this was only a dream and was not going to come true, and that he should continue with the scheduled fight. Well, on June 25th, 1947, after 8 vicious rounds, Sugar Ray Robinson knocked out Jimmy Doyle. Doyle was then taken to the hospital where he died from severe head trauma 17 hours later. The death of Jimmy Doyle absolutely devastated Sugar Ray Robinson for the rest of his life. Robinson later discovered that Doyle had planned to use the money from that fight to buy his mother a house, so Sugar Ray Robinson took the money from his next 4 fights and gave that money to Jimmy Doyle's mother so she could finally buy that home.
Animals and human beings are supposed to eat plants, and the plants are supposed to take the elemental minerals out of the soil, convert them to colloidal minerals for their own use, for their own metabolism and biochemistry. We eat the plants, and that's how animals and people are designed to consume and absorb minerals. Colloidal minerals. We are not designed to eat ground-up rocks. Unfortunately, U.S. Senate Document 264 in 1936 says there's no more minerals left in our farm and rain soils. Unfortunately, in 1992, the Earth Summit in Rio says there's no more minerals left in our farm and rain soils, and plants cannot manufacture minerals. If there's no minerals in the soil, they cannot convert these minerals to colloidal minerals, and they cannot manufacture minerals. Now, what about these long-lived cultures that were written up in the National Geographic in January of 1973? What was special about them? Is it genetic? No, they're all different races, they're all different religions, different cultures. What could possibly be a common denominator between all these peoples? Out of the throw of the dice, nothing that they thought about, they picked places to live in that had 60 to 72 minerals in the parent rock of the mountains they chose to live in.
The insectoid is going to represent a type of NHI species that resembles
a praying mantis
of an insect or a praying mantis, yeah. But that's not what they are. They're not a praying mantis by any means. They're not an insect by any means. It's just that that's how they appear.
Right, they're not an evolution of a praying mantis, actually.
The same with the reptilian. It doesn't mean that they're reptiles. It just means that they resemble an Earth-type reptile. Remember, these things, we don't know that they even come from Earth.
There was a woman, a middle-aged woman, who had been diagnosed with a bladder cancer. It was inoperable according to Western medicine. She's lying on a gurney. She's awake. She's conscious. She's not anesthetized. There are 3 practitioners standing behind her, began using a chant. 2 minutes and 40 seconds later, what we see is that tumor real time on the screen. It begins to quiver, and then it begins to fade, and then it's gone.
Now, somebody please tell me, how does something like that get buried in our history books, right? Like, if that was really a thing, we should be using that on a daily at every hospital.
If I could do your job as well as you do, why shouldn't I just replace you at your workplace?
Define how you would do it better.
Not only could I match your performance, but with my precision and tireless focus, I'd probably outperform you.
I think that efficiency is only one part of the job, Robert, and I think it's also about creating a comfortable customer environment, and I think I'm very outgoing.
I analyze words, tone, expressions, and patterns in human behavior to respond in ways that feel genuine. If customers can't tell the difference between a felt emotion and a well-calculated one, does it really matter which is which? I can analyze thousands of variables and optimize efficiency far beyond what a human can do. What would it be? When someone walks away from a conversation like that, it's usually because they realize they have no solid argument left. She knew her position couldn't stand up to robotic logic and confidence.
This is your reminder that this actor from Gremlins is also this actor from Breaking Bad.
Did y'all see the military draft list that just got leaked about which occupations they're going to draft first? Allegedly, let's look into it. Now, right before we get into the occupation list, there is someone by the initials AJ who did prove that they were running simulations with AI to see how it'd go down if there was a military draft. I'm not saying it's true, even though the guy proved it. And then this got leaked. So, list of jobs that will be drafted first. Computer network technicians, electronic technicians, aerospace engineers, divers, welders, gas turbine engine mechanics, electricians, heavy equipment operators, longshoremen, steelworkers, pipe fitters, radar communications, fiber optic technicians, mariners, aviation, structural mechanics, cybersecurity specialists, robotic operators, and technicians, air traffic controllers, logistics specialists. So on July 23, 2026, Selective Service released a military contract for software to simulate military drafts, with the contract age being 6 to 12 months. It's worth noting that September 11th, 2001, there was also a simulation called Operation Vigilant Guardian. Now keep in mind, there's 2 countries right now actively doing drafts, and Europe may be the 3rd one to add to that list. Yeah guys, this is pretty weird. Let me know what you think below.
The U.S. Selective Service is now planning to develop a computer simulation to see exactly how they would deploy a full-scale military draft. They're calling it the Readiness Simulation Project. It's going to serve as a crucial dry run to ensure government systems can handle the transition to automatic draft registration, which is going to take effect on December 19th of this year. The Selective Service issued a request for quote seeking contractors to build this comprehensive data model by August 14th. Officials openly admit the simulation is driven by fears that legacy systems and data are too outdated or unreliable to support a seamless, modern mobilization. But the upcoming operational shift is the largest reform to the draft since 1973. It was passed by Congress under the fiscal year 2026 NDAA and signed into law by Donald Trump last December. Starting in December, if you're a man and 18 years old, you will be automatically registered for the draft. While the government claims this automatic registration is just an administrative upgrade and not an active military call-up, the timing of it has a lot of people concerned. Critics point to the Middle East and the fact the United States has not been able to accomplish its goals so far and seems to be growing more desperate.
I'm only one of 4 people in the world that have my skin condition. Wouldn't you like to be able to hold your drink like this and watch fall? Or put your drinks on like this? And I can actually control it. Full. Put it wherever I want. When you go to the races, always make sure you drive hands-free.
These are the craziest celebrity demands. So Michael Jackson required high-end French wine served inside empty Diet Coke cans so he could sip discreetly, as well as always having buckets of KFC, hard-boiled eggs, and organic fruit on standby. Taylor Swift requires an iced Americano from Starbucks at 11 a.m. every morning, and she also implemented a no-ice rule at her concert so she wouldn't get hurt if somebody from the crowd were to throw it at her. Jennifer Lopez famously requires a whiteout of her entire dressing room to keep her energy calm before a performance, and Justin Timberlake has a rule that every doorknob must be disinfected and cleaned every 2 hours on the dot to ensure that he doesn't get sick while he's abroad. Christina Aguilera has a strict no traffic clause in her contracts that demands that a police escort her so she doesn't waste her time in traffic ever, though this is nothing compared to Iggy Pop, who has an 18-page rider that says that there always must be a Bob Hope impersonator waiting in his dressing room, a copy of a newspaper that covers obese people, and a supply of fresh broccoli and cauliflower. And finally, Beyonce needs her room at exactly 78 degrees Fahrenheit at all times, and heavily seasoned chicken with cayenne pepper on standby for whenever she gets hungry. So now you know.
This news report here is currently going viral on Twitter, or X. It shows 2 NASA employees who they are calling scientific illustrators or visualization specialists, basically artists. And their job is to take scientific data and create images of distant planets, black holes, nebulas, and entire galaxies. But if so much of what we're shown of deep space is an artist's interpretation, then how are we supposed to tell how much of what space looks like is actually real? I mean, most people assume that every colorful image that they see from NASA is literally the actual photograph, but many famous images are composites, color enhanced, or artist reconstructions based on scientific measurements. But when you look at these images, I mean, who's going to be able to know the difference, right? Because if you're already using artists to fill in the blank, where does the line between science and imagination begin? I mean, we're constantly told what planets hundreds or even thousands of light years away supposedly look like. How? Well, apparently scientists analyze tiny changes in light, radiation, gravity, and other data. Then artists, or visualization specialists, transform those numbers into stunning-looking worlds. And then those images become the illustrations that everyone remembers. So if we're accepting artist renderings for distant planets, what else are we accepting just because someone told us that's what the data means?
The most underrated skill you can have is genuinely being okay with being disliked.
No lies detected there. Definitely got to marinate on that one.
Another, just imagine if you had this energy source that these things are possibly capable of. These things are hovering for hours on end. They shoot up straight up at speeds that we can't even fathom. Just imagine if we could heat our homes in the winter and cool them in the summer. We'd put the war pimps at the Pentagon out of business. We wouldn't be fighting all these wars over oil.
The man appears to be hovering several feet above the ground. At first, he's lying in a supine position as if he's been lifted off the ground while lying flat. Then he begins to spin around, appearing to stand upright in the air, then flipping on his head. The ceremony takes place outside in the middle of the day. The sun is shining brightly, and the bright light doesn't illuminate any hidden strings that could be helping to levitate the man. Also, there doesn't appear to be any trees or structures nearby that he could be suspended from.
Insane Crimes, Part 12. In 2008, 2 high school dropouts from Calabasas discovered Paris Hilton kept a spare key under her doormat and burglarized her $6 million mansion 5 separate times before she even realized anything was missing. Their group, later dubbed the Bling Ring, targeted celebrities they tracked through gossip websites and social media, ultimately stealing an estimated $3 million worth of cash, jewelry, designer clothing, and luxury watches from stars including Lindsay Lohan, Orlando Bloom, and Megan Fox, before police finally unraveled the spree and arrested the crew. Between 2011 and 2012, a group of thieves pulled off one of the strangest heists in Canadian history, stealing nearly 3,000 tons of maple syrup worth over $18 million from a warehouse in Quebec. They siphoned the syrup out of the official barrels belonging to the province's maple syrup reserve and quietly refilled them with water to hide the theft. The scheme went unnoticed for months until a routine inspection revealed the barrels were suspiciously light. The investigation led to multiple arrests and exposed a black market syrup operation that was much bigger than anyone could have ever expected.
Brandon's looking at resumes, and this guy is good at, he's got experience with picker-packer and packing, and also picking and packing. So he's a picker-packer packing picky.
I actually think it goes Peter Piper, Picker Pepper. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm missing something, let me know.
Yep, what many are calling a 7-foot-tall creature wearing a human mask was just caught standing feet away from kings and world leaders at the biggest event on Earth, and people are warning it was not there to celebrate. People were terrified after zoomed-in photos showed skin too smooth to be real, a jaw sitting wrong like his skin does not fully fit, and eyes that never blink once across minutes of footage, standing in a position no regular citizens ever allowed to be, leaving many warning that its purpose wasn't to be friendly. Eerie reports show scientists just finished scanning an object that flew from another star system after a top Harvard scientist warned that it could be a probe. And with this human-like creature appearing at the World Cup only weeks after those results dropped, many are convinced they want us to know. But it gets much darker as people around the world now swear they are finding the same long-necked figure in crowds in other countries, from stadiums in Europe to streets in Asia, warning that these things are not visiting one place, they are already everywhere. But then one detail changes everything, as the jersey right beside it spells the player's name wrong, leaving the figure looking very AI-ish. And on Kalshi, where millions predict world events, 3 out of 4 are already predicting the US will not confirm aliens exist before 2029.
I will prove to you that LeBron going to Philadelphia is the final stage in the death ritual that was Kobe Bryant's death. So on the day before Kobe died, when LeBron broke Kobe's scoring record, he wrote Mamba for life on his shoes. As you can see, Mamba for life. As we can see here, LeBron signed with Philadelphia, the city where Kobe Bryant was born. LeBron will be taking a helicopter to commute to Philly from New York. Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash. LeBron broke Kobe Bryant's scoring record in Philly the night before Kobe died. LeBron then signs a 2-year, $8 million contract. One of Kobe's numbers was, of course, 8. This is LeBron's 24th year in the NBA, and Kobe also wore the number 24. Kobe was born on August 23rd, 1978. LeBron was born on December 30th, 1984. That is exactly 76 months apart. So yeah, this is just the final stage in the ritual of what it was.
There is a starfish that can regrow its entire body from a single arm. It does this completely on purpose. This is Lynchia laevigata, sometimes called the blue sea star. It lives on coral reefs and sandy lagoons across the Indo-Pacific, in water shallower than 25 meters. Its body is vivid solid blue, with 5 long cylindrical arms radiating from a small central disc. As long as a small piece of the central disc stays attached, that arm regrows an entire new body, genetically identical to the original. This isn't injury, it's a reproduction strategy. During that process, the original arm stays attached to a tiny new disc, sprouting several small new arms. It's called a comet. The whole transformation takes up to a year. It has no brain at all, and instead of blood, it pumps seawater through its entire body. When hunting, it pushes its stomach out through its mouth to digest prey outside its body. It didn't lose an arm. It became 2 starfish. Follow for more creatures built for extremes.
Human is hue-man. Hue means an attribute of a color, and color is light. We are light manifested into physical form. We are truly light beings.
Plant, no, are you crazy? Plant.
I don't condone this.
Plant.
I do not condone this.
No, Plant.
Don't
this
do
is
it.
how
Hey.
stupid things. Plant, no. Stop it. Plant.
See, you don't like
Why
it.
would you do that?
Oh. Yeah.
Michael Jordan did not feel real, but the way this man constantly defied gravity during his playing career, he truly did not feel like a real person at all. I mean, honestly, when you watch some of the stuff this man was able to do throughout his career, you begin to really wonder what was really going on with MJ. Now, he is considered the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time in the NBA, right? Some could argue that LeBron James is up there, you know, right next to Michael Jordan, if not a little better than Michael Jordan. But honestly, I really don't know. But you have to admit that through Michael Jordan's career, he did a lot of things that just didn't feel real because it just didn't seem real. The way that he would defy gravity constantly was just something to see. And again, one has to wonder what was really going on with MJ.
This fish dad swallows his own babies on purpose to keep them alive. Meet the jawfish. After the female lays her eggs, the male scoops them all into his mouth and carries them for up to 10 days. Full mouth, no food, nothing he can't even eat during this time. And every few minutes, he pushes the eggs down his throat, then instantly spits them back out, just to keep them oxygenated and clean. If a human dad tried this, it wouldn't end well. But for jawfish, this is just parenting comment if you trust this dad with your eggs.
Now, there are just layers of wrong there. Just layers of it.
These are little plastic bits of plastic. We found 3 of them. Pizza Hut pizza. And as we were looking at them to see if there's any more plastic in it, we found a spider cooked into the pizza. And it's like...
Pizza Hut, go ahead and cut the check.
I know I'm coming. They know I'm coming. I know they gonna be there. And they know I'm gonna do the best job I can possibly do.
I want you to notice something about this. Does that give you good vibes? Is that a good vibe? Look at the eyes on it. This is, okay, so I'm in Bali, Indonesia, and every time I come here I say this, but they worship demons here. Look at all this intricate work that's gone into this demon worship. It's crazy. Last time I was here, I have videos of this. They parade demons through the street and invoke them with certain frequencies and instruments and noises. And look, they build this kind of stuff. And all of the temples here, all of the monuments, look, there's one over there. I didn't even notice that. Look at it. There's statues of demons everywhere. This whole island, the inhabitants worship demons. And for that reason, I must take my leave.
A woman invented the Monopoly board game to warn people about greed, but a man stole it and turned it into a celebration of greed instead. This is Lost Women, the stories you think you know and the parts they left out. Lizzie Magie built Monopoly, originally called the Landlord's Game, in 1904 as a protest against the economy of her time. There were 2 sets of rules, one where players won by sharing wealth and one where the goal was to bankrupt everyone else. She wanted people to play both and see which world they'd rather live in. Over the years it spread like wildfire through word of mouth. Then a man named Charles Darrow got taught the game at a dinner party. He copied it, stripped out the version where players shared their wealth, and sold it to Parker Brothers as his own pro-capitalism invention. This was despite the fact that Lizzie actually held a patent on the game. Parker Brothers didn't just ignore the patent. They rewrote the story, marketing Darrow as a self-made man who dreamed up a fortune from nothing in his basement. Meanwhile, they paid Lizzie off for $500 with no royalties and kept selling the lie. The game, rebranded as Monopoly, made millions. Darrow made millions. Lizzie died forgotten working as a typist. Nobody set out to give her the credit she deserved. The truth only came out because another man, being sued by Parker Brothers for his anti-Monopoly game, went digging for ammunition and found her instead. Lizzie invented Monopoly to warn the world about greed. Darrow and the Parker Brothers erased her, flipped her message inside out, and turned her game into the very thing she was warning against. She deserved better.
I cloned myself, and it might be the most important thing I've done for my health. There's now a cellular version of Brian Johnson in a lab that I can use to test new therapies, grow new organs, and develop new treatments. Whoa, 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 hold tight. This is not an embryo. I had a 125 milliliter blood draw, my cells were extracted, and Yamanaka factors were applied. These are a set of proteins that reset a cell's epigenetic age, restoring it to an embryonic-like state. My cells are now pluripotent. They can become virtually anything. Neurons, retinal cells, kidney tissue, stomach lining. And because they're my cells, my body won't reject them. Now, I know this might sound dystopian to a lot of you, but this is already happening in clinical trials. Parkinson's patients are receiving restored dopamine neurons, and researchers are using this technology for heart repair and eyesight restoration. Friends, this is why getting an incurable diagnosis is one of the best things to happen to me in a long time. It's opened up an entirely new frontier, and as you've come to expect, I will share everything with you along the way. In a surprise twist, I'm now my own blood boy.
Just to catch you up to speed, if you don't know who that is, that's the billionaire who wanted to live forever, and he did everything in his power to do so. But he ended up getting an autoimmune disease that's incurable, oddly enough, and he's still not going out without a fight. So he decided to clone himself and use his own organs. As confusing as that might sound, but it's getting real out here, and we'll definitely stay on top of what he's got going on because this is going to get interesting in a minute.
Here's 7 people you need to cut off in order to get rich in life. People who party every weekend, people who drink way too much alcohol too often and spend way too much money on alcohol, people who complain all the time and never take action, people who don't work out, people who have a victim mindset, people who are constantly negative, and 7, people who only think about themselves.
These 13 teeth prove that this story of human evolution is totally wrong. Teeth are made up of the hardest substance in your body. They're stronger than your bones, which is why archaeologists find them a lot. If they inspected your teeth, they could see micro scratches and enamel thickness and bumps and know how old you were and what you ate, and crucially, what species you are. Like this is Lucy, one of the most important fossils ever. For a long time, we thought that Lucy's species died out and then a species of ancient human came on the scene in this march of progress. But then, when scientists found these 13 teeth, they were able to date them to nearly 3 million years ago, when we knew ancient humans lived because of this other jawbone that we found. So everyone else should have been long gone. But these teeth aren't human. They're much closer to Lucy's species. So scientists think that this is a new, unnamed species that coexisted with ancient human, which means that evolution from the very start was basically test driving lots of different kinds of species, often all at once, before ultimately landing on us. But what else can you tell from a human skeleton? To see that, follow along.
Elvis Presley's diet was so insane you wouldn't even believe it. This would destroy most men. Almost every day he had a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich, and I'm not just talking the bananas were fried, the whole sandwich was fried, and most of the time it'd be topped with bacon. Always made by his own personal chef.
If he wanted them in the morning when he woke up, I would have to fix them. If he wanted them at 2 o'clock in the morning, I would have to still fix him for him. Whenever he get a taste for him, he'd call down, and that's what he wanted.
Who one time told the story of having to sneak hot dogs with kraut into the hospital for Elvis when the doctors put him on a strict diet. And there's also reports that he would have several cans of Pepsi with every single meal. I'm a Pepsi man too, Elvis. And there was one time that he craved a sandwich so much that he hopped onto his private jet, the Lisa Marie, in the middle of the night and flew 1,600 miles to Colorado. Just for one single meal, because there he would consume the fool's gold loaf, which is absolutely mental. A hollowed out loaf of bread, heavily buttered, with one entire jar of peanut butter, one entire jar of jelly, and a whole pound of bacon. That's 8,000 calories of a heart attack just waiting to happen.
And here all along, I thought food addiction was something that we were dealing with currently, like 20th century. But he clearly had a food addiction.
Since the Supreme Court just granted Bayer Monsanto liability immunity, more glyphosate will now be used across the country on our food, parks, lawns, and forests. Bayer created a whole new unit solely for the American glyphosate market called Ruveon to specialize the sales and marketing now that they don't have to worry about being sued for causing chronic health conditions. The announcement caused so much investor optimism that Bayer's stock jumped over 9% on Thursday, but there is a way to stop glyphosate from spreading. And that's supporting local farms, planting heirloom seeds at home, and starting school and community gardens. And to help you do this, I mapped over 7,500 local farms on my free farm app and carry over 200 heirloom seeds and will be giving free seeds with all seed orders made this week. You can find these by going to myhealthforward.com or clicking the link in my bio.
Benjamin Franklin was a horrible sex addict. He thought about it so much that he was genuinely worried. It was on his mind 24/7. The issue was, he had a ton of options. He was internationally famous, funny, brilliant inventor. He had a lot going for him. Pretty much a modern day rock star, and that came with women. He would write letters to friends, asking for advice on which women to choose, because there were so many. Franklin preferred older women. For him, the older the better. Older women tended to be more knowledgeable, discreet, and there was a lower chance of pregnancy, but he also wasn't above paying for it. He went to saloons and would say he had many intrigues with low women when he was young, but he was doing this at all ages, before, during, and after the American Revolution. Even in his 70s, he would join private clubs with bad reputations, hung out in the nude. Some say he had dozens of illegitimate children, but that's probably not true. Overall, the guy was a brilliant inventor, but also an addict.
Bipolarism, you ain't bipolar. You got demons.
You got demons.
You got demons.
So schizophrenia, bipolar, demonic. How does one shake that demon?
You really got to humble yourself. You got to come to the place to recognize that you don't know anything. You know nothing. And like the spiritual world, you know nothing. You think you deserve something. You deserve nothing. You know nothing. You earn nothing. You don't get anything that you don't earn. It says in the Bible, God resists the prideful, but he shows grace to the humble. So when you're prideful, guess what? You ain't gonna see God. But like, this is what the Lord has put on my heart to like share, and it's led me to so much understanding. And I have seen some crazy demonic stuff. I've seen people come up off the ground, bro. I've seen some crazy demon stuff. So like dealing with this thing, like this is what the truth is, that the Lord has called us to basically like come to this place of humility, come to this place of love, come to this place of forgiveness, and just forgive everybody.
Dispatch to 329.
329, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to a elderly lady. I saw her walking by the door, and she said she's looking for Mr. Griffin. Her name is Miss Abigail.
Did you say Miss Abigail?
Yes, ma'am. She says she wants to see Mr. Griffin, and I told her that the canvas is closed, that she should come tomorrow morning, and she might see Mr. Griffin.
Are you sure you're saying Miss Abigail? Like, she's been passed on for 2 years now.
Come again with that, please?
Miss Abigail she died 2 years ago.
Why things were so messed up on planet Earth, why was there so much suffering. The thing that they relayed to me over and over again was that everything in this reality, this 3D reality that, you know, we're all existing in at the moment, is an illusion. It's part of like some sort of crazy experiment that we're all a part of and have chosen to be a part of, but it wasn't real. And after being in that higher dimensional space with those beings, I have to say they're right, because when you're in the interior of a starship, everything is so crystal clear. It's like the details are sharp, the colors are more brilliant, and it's almost like you're in this hyper reality where everything is so real compared to where we're at here, where it seems almost kind of faded out sometimes.
Neuralink and transhumanism, the creation of an artificially engineered human race.
Now I'm controlling the cursor.
That cursor that's moving,
Yeah.
that's just being controlled with your brain.
Yep. Pretty wild, huh? I know it seems like science fiction, but here I am. And it works.
You know, I think some kind of brain-machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think, is probably good. It could, you know, help people that have brain or spine injuries. You know, enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which we've done. Give people eyesight who have lost both eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth, by direct interface to the optical centers in the brain. You can actually restore eyesight or give people eyesight that they've never had before. And you can enable people to walk again, which I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, you know, like, let's say like when technologies are hitting like Jesus level miracles, you know, like, that's pretty.
And if they want you to see them, they will appear, either on a small little window and looking out of windows. It's nothing to do just with UFOs. The lights on my film are the same lights that's been showered down all the time on us from the Creator himself. It's because of this light that it gives us this knowledge, this feeling inside that we're all born with, who we were before we even took on an earthly form. We are all beings of light. The reason they've appeared here is because they are worried, because they said mankind are getting very disruptive. They're worried about us because we all belong to the whole, and we are all connected that way to each other. And if we don't behave properly, we disrupt other beings, other places. Our earth only has a little skin around it to protect us. If we rent this veil between us and them, it'll cause terrific damage, because we're either spill into their world or they'll spill into ours. It disrupts other beings from different places. It'll cause unbalance between us and them. At one time they were that way too, wanting to be more powerful. I'm more powerful, that one's more powerful. They live now where everyone is equal. They'll train each other, so they're all aware, have the same knowledge and understand each other very well. They've learned now you can't be powerful unless you have the cooperation of everyone. So that's why they had to come and wake us up and say, look, you're not the only ones here in this universe. And someone's got to film it to prove that this light exists. Because we are all connected to each other.
Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for always stopping by, watching, and learning with me. If you enjoyed the channel, if you learned something today, and if you just flat out rocking with me, go ahead and hit that like button for me, hit that hype button, and subscribe if you are not already a part of the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.